Joe Smith Jr. stops Steve Geffrard in the 9th round of their scheduled 12-round fight. Before we get into the video, please like and subscribe. We'd be greatly appreciated. Joe Smith Jr., from the first round to the end, was battering on Steve Geffrard. Hurt him the first time in the 4th. Then he hurt him badly in the 5th, and ever since then, Steve Geffrard checked out of the fight after he was hurt badly in the 5th. Took not really that much punishment because it was a weird performance. Especially if you haven't seen the fight, you got to go watch the fight to know what I mean. Joe Smith Jr. was very underwhelming. Very underwhelming. It was a very weird performance from him. Most of his shots today was throwing. He wasn't even like twisting his hips or putting any weight behind it. It was just pit, pit, pat, pit, pit, pat. I didn't get it watching it live. Maybe I have to rewatch it. I just didn't understand what he was doing for most of the fight. Even Timothy Bradley was like, what is he doing? Joe Smith Jr. could have legitimately knocked out Steve Geffrard in the first round if he wanted to. I know Callum Johnson is kicking himself that this opportunity slipped away. We all know why now he did not fight Artur Beterbiev after picking up the title. It's obvious that it wasn't a fluke situation, or it wasn't that a one-off performance against Vlasov when he performed against Vlasov. This guy is just not at an elite level. Now, what's next for Joe Smith Jr.? I think he's going to fight Canelo Alvarez next. This is the best possible option for Canelo. He can become a 2-time WBO light heavyweight champion against another very weak WBO light heavyweight champion. I don't give this guy a chance in 100 to beat Canelo. I wouldn't be surprised if Canelo's 100-1 favorite over Joe Smith Jr. I could have seen a possible way Caleb Plant could win. I could have seen a possible way Billy Joe Sanders could win. I cannot see Joe Smith Jr. beating Canelo Alvarez. I couldn't see Callum Smith either when they fought. Or Evan Yildirim. This is the same type of opponent. A guy who's just going to shell up and take as much punishment as Canelo Alvarez wants to dish. Wow, that was a horrible performance from Joe Smith Jr. He won. Congratulations on defending your title against a guy ranked outside of the top 100 on BoxRec, and no one's ever heard of him. But to say, though, to be 100% honest, and not just take away from Joe Smith Jr. and Steve Geffrard, Steve Geffrard does have a good amateur record. He has 27 wins, 7 losses. He's beaten the likes of Hasim Rahman Jr., Jordan Schimmel, lost twice to Michael Hunter. So he has a couple good wins. He beat Jordan Schimmel more than once. He beat Thomas Williams Jr. before. He beat Andrew Tabiti before. So it's not like he's a horrible fighter, but he's been a horrible pro. I don't rate Joe Smith Jr. I haven't made that a secret. I thought he got absolutely beat up by Maxim Vlasov, and he did not look too well in this fight. Now, as I said, I think for him next, I think he's going to get the Canelo shot. And yeah, I guess he's a hardworking guy. He was a construction worker for a long time when he was doing boxing, and he deserves a payday. Maybe after he gets knocked out brutally by Canelo Alvarez, eventually he can retire and have a good lifestyle for him and his family. And yeah, I know. I meant to say he's going to get knocked out brutally by Canelo Alvarez because I do not see that fight going with a full 12 rounds. I just don't. He makes way too many mistakes in there. Like, at one point, he threw a right uppercut from like 10 feet away from Steve Geffrard. And even Timothy Bradley was like, why didn't you counter that, Steve Geffrard? That was the dumbest uppercut I've ever seen. Second dumbest. The dumbest uppercut will always be Tyson Fury's uppercut when he uppercutted himself. But all jokes aside, that uppercut was very reminiscent of the uppercut Buster Douglas threw at Evander Holyfield when Holyfield countered him and knocked him out. Very reminiscent. It was just a dumb uppercut. Now, excuse me if my voice is a bit choppy. I am right now diagnosed with a virus that's shut down the world, and I have been for the past week. So forgive me on that. Yeah, that's all I got. Give me your thoughts in the comment section below. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Sadiq Boxing out.